It's funny. Sometimes the biggest global stories, they aren't really in the big headlines. They're kind of hidden in plain sight, maybe in something you'd think is, I don't know, incredibly niche.
Hmm.
Like, imagine the global market for baby teethers. That sounds so specific, right?
Yeah.
Almost small.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily think global powerhouse.
Exactly. Yet some parts of these seemingly minor markets, they're actually seeing really impressive, sometimes quite surprising growth.
Absolutely.
So today, that's what we're doing, a deep dive into exactly that. The fascinating world of the global baby teethers market. We're using one main source for this, the Global Baby Teethers Market Forecast, 2021-2033 Insights Report.
Got it.
And our mission really is just to give you a shortcut, get you well informed on this specific market. We'll highlight the key trends, regional stuff, future projections, some things you might not expect. Okay, let's dig in.
Yeah, and this is, I think, where it gets really interesting because understanding a market that seems niche, like baby teethers, it can actually give us pretty significant clues about, well, broader global consumer trends, maybe demographic shifts, even larger economic forces around the world.
Right.
It sort of lets us connect the dots, doesn't it? See how these everyday items, they really do add up to, substantial global commerce.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's start with that big picture then, our source.
Mm.
It reveals the global baby teethers market was valued at a pretty solid $560.4 million. That was back in 2021.
$500 million, more than that, yeah.
And the growth path,
Yeah.
it's quite striking, actually. It's projected to hit over $700 million by 2025,
Okay.
and then really surge up to an impressive $1.14 billion by 2033.
Wow. So more than doubling from that 2021 number over the period.
Exactly.
What's really telling there, I think, is the overall compound annual growth rate, the CAGR. It's 6.1% for this period. Now, for anyone less familiar, that's basically the average growth each year, smoothed out. A 6.1% CAGR for something like baby teethers, well, that signals remarkably robust, sustained expansion. It points to strong, ongoing demand, well into the future.
That is a powerful indicator.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that global picture set, let's zoom in a bit. Where's this growth actually happening? Region by region. In 2021, the top three markets were Asia-Pacific, North America, and Europe.
Mm-hmm. And while North America and Europe are, undeniably significant players,
Sure.
Asia-Pacific actually holds the lead right now, and its continued high growth. That's absolutely crucial for understanding where this whole global market is heading.
Okay, let's break that down. Let's look at North America first. So this market, it's projected to roughly double in value by 2033,
Right.
showing a pretty consistent 6% average annual growth. And, well, no surprise really, the United States makes up the lion's share of this.
Naturally.
Canada's seeing steady expansion too.
Right.
But here's a little detail I found interesting. Mexico. It's actually projected to grow significantly faster. We're talking over 7% annually, a 7.15% CAGR.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So when you see that, Mexico's growth rate outpacing the U.S. and Canada,
Yeah.
what's your immediate thought on that? Does anything sort of jump out from the broader context?
Well, that higher growth in Mexico is quite fascinating. It could point to a few different things, really.
Like what?
Maybe a younger population demographic, potentially, increasing disposable income, perhaps, among new parents. Or it could just be a market that's, well, less saturated compared to the U.S. and Canada.
Right, more room to grow.
Exactly. It kind of suggests a strong, emerging middle-class consumer base there, really focusing on these kinds of products.
Makes sense. Okay, let's hop across the Atlantic, Europe, this market. Also looking at significant expansion, it's aiming to nearly double its value by 2033 as well. Growth rate's pretty steady, around 5.8%.
Okay.
And the key players are the ones you'd expect. Germany, the UK, France, the usual economic powerhouses. Italy, Russia, Spain are significant too. Even smaller markets like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg show decent numbers.
Mm-hmm. Standard players.
But like in North America, there's a twist here, the rest of Europe segment, this category. It's actually showing the highest growth rate in the entire European region.
Really?
Yeah, an impressive 8.285% CGR. It's growing from about $13.5 million to over $40 million by 2033.
Wow, okay. That's actually quite striking, that rest of Europe category.
Yeah.
What it implies is really interesting.
So,
Well, it suggests that maybe more diverse, perhaps less saturated markets within the continent, countries that aren't those traditional big economic engines, they're expanding rapidly.
okay.
It signals, significant untapped potential, maybe a broader adoption of these specialized baby products is happening in those areas now.
Okay, now, on to the current market leader, Asia Pacific. This region is projected for really robust expansion. Market size expected to more than double by 2033, showing a strong 6.4% annual growth rate overall. And the major players here, huge markets, obviously China, Japan too.
Right, the giants.
But we absolutely have to flag India's performance here. Really strong. Growth rate over 6.6% annually.
Yeah, India is a key engine there.
Definitely a significant engine within the region. And mirroring what we saw in Europe, that rest of APAC category, also doing exceptionally well, over 7.6% CAGR.
So that pattern repeats. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if we sort of connect this back to the bigger picture, the sheer scale, first of all, and the continued high growth right across Asia Pacific, it just underscores its global economic influence, doesn't it?
Totally.
And not just in, say, tech or manufacturing, but even for everyday consumer goods like this. It reflects that burgeoning middle class, evolving consumer habits, probably sustained birth rates too, especially in places like India.
Yeah.
It's really a powerful sign of rising living standards, I think.
Absolutely. Now, beyond these three major regions, we should mention the others quickly. South America, the Middle East, Africa. They're also adding significantly to the market's growth.
Important pieces.
Across South America, you see consistent expansion. Brazil's leading the charge there, as you might expect. Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile also contributing. And again, the rest of South America shows a slightly higher CAGR.
There's that pattern again.
Right. Then the Middle East showing impressive dynamism. It's projected to more than double its market value. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, the UAE are key drivers. Egypt, Qatar too.
A strong growth region.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And Africa, while it's starting from a smaller base, it's also demonstrating steady growth. Nigeria and South Africa are the notable contributors mentioned.
Okay. So what this data seems to consistently show then is that even in these, let's say, smaller or emerging markets, the widespread and pretty consistent growth rates indicate, well, a universal need for these products, basically.
Seems like it.
It really speaks to a continuously growing consumer base for essential baby items. Maybe a rising global standard of care for infants, where parents worldwide are increasingly looking for and able to buy specialized products like teethers.
That's a great point. Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. What have we really learned? The big takeaway seems to be that the overall picture for the global baby teethers market is one of, well, robust, consistent growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's clearly a significant global industry, not just some passing fad for a niche product.
No, definitely not. And this kind of raises an important question for you, the listener, doesn't it? What does this level of consistent growth in a specific consumer goods market like this, what does it imply for wider economic trends or, changing consumer habits, maybe even global demographics?
Oh, so?
Well, the purchasing power and the priorities of new parents worldwide are clearly fueling this market's expansion. And that tells us quite a lot about potentially global prosperity trends, evolving family planning ideas, things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And as we saw, those rest of categories, like rest of Europe at over 8%, rest of APAC over 7.5%, Mexico over 7%, they're particularly interesting little pockets of growth, aren't they?
Definitely the ones to watch.
They're not just random numbers. They suggest these rapidly expanding markets beyond the major, the really well-established economies. So what does this all mean for your understanding of the world? Well, it means even in something that seems as simple as a baby teether, there's really complex global economic activity going on underneath. It reveals these deeper shifts in consumer behavior, economic development right across the globe.
Well said.
And, well, that kind of wraps up our deep dive for today. We went from what seems like a pretty straightforward concept, right? A baby teether.
Simple product.
To exploring a global market that's heading towards, well, over $1 billion. It's actually a fantastic example of how specific data points, even niche ones, can light up much broader trends and economic forces.
It really is. So maybe a final thought for you to mull over. As you go about your day, just consider how these seemingly small, everyday items,
Like a teether.
exactly like a baby teether, how they can actually be surprisingly powerful indicators of significant economic shifts, demographic changes happening all around the world. It makes you wonder, what other niche markets might be quietly booming right now, reflecting these larger changes in our global society?
That's a great question to leave things on. Keep an eye out for those hidden indicators in your own learning, your own observations. That's all for this deep dive.
Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really get into a topic, pull apart the information, and find those surprising insights. And today we're diving into something you might think is, well, pretty simple, baby teethers. But it turns out there's kind of a quiet revolution happening there. So our mission today is to unpack what's going on, the market forces, the real challenges manufacturers face, and the cool, innovative trends shaping how babies, and let's be honest, their parents, get through teething. Yes, an often tricky phase. And all the insights we're discussing, they come from a pretty thorough market analysis. So we've got a structured look at what's actually happening in this surprisingly dynamic industry.
Okay, so let's kick things off. Let's unpack this. What's really fueling the momentum, the growth in the teether market? I mean, fundamentally, why are we seeing more of them?
Well, the most basic driver, and maybe not what everyone thinks of first, isn't just that there are more babies, but where they're being born. We're seeing significant growth in birth rates across developing regions.
Okay, look, where specifically? Think parts of Asia, Africa, Latin America. And it's not just the raw numbers. It's also about this growing middle class. They have better access to healthcare now, and, importantly, they're increasingly able to prioritize, infant wellness.
So it expands the actual consumer base and their ability to spend on these kinds of products.
Exactly. More families looking for and able to buy essential baby care items, like teethers.
That makes a lot of sense. More potential customers with more focus on baby health. But beyond just the numbers, there's the parental side too, right? I remember being a first-time parent. The information overload. It feels like there's been a huge shift in how aware parents are now.
Oh, absolutely. That's another massive factor. Today's parents, especially the first-timers, they are highly informed. They're not just looking for something to stop the crying.
Right.
They're actively researching. They want products that are safe, yes, but also effective in supporting overall infant oral health development.
Yeah.
The whole package.
And what's fascinating here is how that awareness directly shapes what they actually buy, isn't it?
It really does. You see this undeniable surge in demand for safe, non-toxic materials. It's huge.
Because parents worry what's actually going in the baby's mouth.
Precisely. There are rising concerns about chemicals like BPA that was common in plastics and phthalates used for flexibility. Latex allergies, too. So consumers are strongly gravitating towards specific things. Food-grade silicone, natural rubber, plastics that are certified eco-friendly.
So safety is almost becoming the primary feature, maybe even over pure function sometimes.
In many cases, yes. Parents are making it very clear. Safety first.
That's a really powerful consumer shift. And, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How are these products actually reaching parents? The whole digital world must have turned things upside down.
Completely. It's been a total game changer. The boom in e-commerce, and especially these direct-to-consumer or D2C brands.
Right, the ones you only see online.
Exactly. Yeah. It's made a, frankly, dizzying array of teethers incredibly accessible. Think about it. You can find everything from small batch, organic, handmade items on sites like Etsy, all the way to high-tech, multifunctional designer toys from slick B2C brands. The range is just vast now.
And how do brands cut through that noise?
Well, they're using sophisticated digital campaigns, targeted social media ads, and, crucially, influencer partnerships.
The mommy bloggers and Instagram parents.
Exactly. They're reaching very specific parental groups in ways traditional advertising just couldn't match a few years back. It's all about building trust and visibility online.
Okay, so the demand is there, the awareness is high, the online channels are humming. But it's not all smooth sailing for the companies making these things, is it? Let's flip to the other side. What are the hurdles, the challenges?
Far from smooth sailing. Yeah, one of the biggest hurdles is navigating the really stringent regulatory requirements.
Okay, like safety standards.
Exactly. You have things like EN71 in Europe, ASTM standards in the US. These demand incredibly rigorous safety testing. Lots of documentation.
And I bet they're not the same everywhere.
Not at all. They vary significantly by country, sometimes even by region. And that just piles on the production and compliance costs.
Which must hit smaller companies harder, right?
Definitely. It's particularly challenging for smaller brands or new entrants who maybe don't have huge compliance departments or deep pockets to handle all that complexity.
And then there's just the sheer number of options out there. The competition must be fierce. How do you even stand out when there are so many similar-looking silicone rings?
That's a critical point. The market is intensely competitive, arguably saturated in some segments.
Which probably squeezes profits.
Absolutely. It makes it really difficult for brands to differentiate purely on the basic product, leading to tight profit margins. It's tough.
And this raises an important question about the product itself. babies don't use teethers forever, do they?
No, that's another unique challenge, the short product life cycle. Most babies only actively use a specific teether for, what, a few months? Maybe 6?
Right, before they move on or just don't need it anymore.
Exactly. So manufacturers face a really low repeat purchase rate for the same customer, unlike, say, diapers or formula.
Which makes building long-term customer loyalty much harder.
Significantly harder, yeah. You constantly need new customers coming through the pipeline.
And on top of the regulations and competition, there are the basic economic pressures too, I imagine, like the cost of making the things.
Oh, definitely. The rising cost of raw materials is a big one, especially if you're committed to those high-quality, organic, or sustainably sourced materials parents increasingly want.
The very things that help you stand out might also cost more.
Precisely. Add in logistics, labor costs. It becomes a real tightrope walk to offer a premium, safe product while staying competitive on price.
Especially in regions where parents are maybe more price sensitive.
Exactly. It's a constant balancing act.
Okay, so significant challenges. Regulations, competition, short life cycle, costs. Yet, despite all that, the market isn't just stagnating. It seems to be evolving rapidly, right? Let's talk about the future. What are the exciting trends shaping what's next for teethers?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of innovation happening. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, one really powerful trend is the emergence of eco-conscious and biodegradable teethers.
Ah, sustainability hitting the baby aisle.
Definitely.
Huh.
There's a clear and growing consumer preference for sustainable options. We're talking materials like natural wood, sometimes cornstarch-based plastics, other plant-based polymers. It
Interesting.
really links into that larger green movement you see in the parenting community. Environmental impact is becoming a core factor in purchase decisions, not just an afterthought.
That's great to see. And beyond just the material, the designs themselves seem to be getting way more sophisticated. It's not just a ring anymore, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
We're seeing this rise in versatile and sensory-focused design elements. It's really clever.
Like what kind of things?
Well, modern teethers often have parts you can chill,
Yeah.
cooling gels for targeted gum relief, lots of different textures for sensory exploration. Some have pacifier attachments, making them multifunctional. Some are even designed explicitly as developmental toys that just happen to be chewable.
So it's offering comfort and engagement, kind of turning the teether into more of a developmental tool.
Exactly. It's a much more holistic approach.
And then there's this other angle I've noticed, the gifting potential. It feels like teethers are becoming, well, almost chic.
Yeah, that's definitely a burgeoning niche.
Yeah.
Customization and premium gifting appeal.
Like personalized engravings, fancy
Yeah,
packaging.
exactly. Things like personalized names or dates, unique color options you maybe can't get mass market, really luxurious packaging. It's making baby teethers a really popular choice for gifts, especially for things like baby showers.
So it elevates it from just a basic necessity to something special.
It really does. It opens up this whole niche for upscale, almost designer quality products. Taps into that emotional side of gift giving for a new baby.
And one last trend, which we touched on earlier with DTC, but it deserves its own spotlight. Influencer marketing. It seems huge in baby care.
Oh, it's incredibly powerful. The growth of influencer marketing here is transforming how parents discover and, crucially, trust product recommendations.
So seeing another parent recommend it online carries real weight.
Huge weight, especially for, say, millennial and Gen Z parents. These parenting influencers, bloggers, they're often seen as authentic, relatable voices, providing real-world experience.
More trustworthy than a traditional ad sometimes.
Often, yes. Their reviews and recommendations act as powerful trust signals, cutting through all the marketing noise. Parents actively seek out that guidance.
Wow. So, okay, let's try and wrap our heads around this. We've done a comprehensive breakdown here. Market dynamics, drivers like birth rates and awareness, the big push for safety.
And the hurdles like regulations and competition.
Right, and then these cool trends like sustainability, smarter design, gifting, influencers. So what does this all mean when you put it together? It seems like this space is just full of opportunity and transformation.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think the core message here is understanding that complex interplay. You've got demand, safety concerns, sustainability desires, digital influence, all shaping this one seemingly simple product category.
It really shows how even basic items are becoming quite sophisticated.
Exactly. It highlights how manufacturers and brands need to be really attuned to all these different factors to succeed.
Which leads to a final thought, something for you, our listeners, to ponder. Considering how quickly this teether market adapts to parental awareness, new materials, new tech, What other seemingly simple baby products do you think might be undergoing similar quiet revolutions in design and material science, maybe right under our noses?